Hello Star Wars fans! So, I know I haven't made a video in a while, but I don't care because this is big news and I needed somebody to talk to about it. Basically, if you haven't seen the video called, what is it called? The Future of Star Wars, put up by the Star Wars YouTube channel, go watch it right now. It's like 3 minutes. It's George Lucas talking with a couple people, and yeah, I'll link it in the description. But go watch it right now, pause the video. Anyways, so hopefully you've seen it now. George Lucas is talking, you know, strongly about, well, I want to retire, get out of the business, pass on the franchise to Disney, and specifically to this producer, Lady Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know exactly if they mean that LucasArts is going to be acquired by Disney or if it's just a partnership. I mean, it kind of sounded like the relationship they have with Pixar, which I know has gone back between Disney owning Pixar and Pixar being in a partnership. But either way, I mean, Star Wars has been you know, partnered with Disney for a long time. They do all sorts of stuff together, you know, from action figures to stuff in the parks. So anyways, but one of the most important things that he said was, oh yeah, I've always said that I never wanted to make more movies, or I was never going to make more movies beyond the 6, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't let somebody else make them. So he's really giving power to this lady Kathleen Kennedy, this awesome producer who has quite, you know, a lot of good movies under her belt. You know, Back to the Future and Jurassic Park and all that. But yeah, he's saying that there could be other movies, letting them do it. And then she confirmed, oh yeah, we definitely want to make other movies. This might just mean Clone Wars movies, but I really, really hope this means expanding the canon of like the main saga. Heck, I even hope this means making remakes. Anything that's more Star Wars film makes me happy. Now, you know, I'm also happy about the TV show and about even the prequels. Even though I don't think the prequels were as good as the original movies, I'm still so happy that they happened. And if you wanted to ask me about why, I could talk for a long time about that, but I won't do that here. Anyways, a lot of the comments were negative. It did have net, you know, positive likes over negative, but there were a lot of people being like, oh no, we're gonna have more Star Wars movies, you know, getting rid of the purity of the franchise, or so on and so forth. I don't really know. Maybe they're afraid that they're not going to be good if they, you know, if they didn't like the prequel movies. They're like, oh, well, I don't want other movies. They're going to be even worse. And then other people, you know, bashing on Lucas, saying, well, if he's not going to be the main guy in charge, then maybe they'll be okay. Which actually I think is a pretty valid point, because you'd be hard pressed to say that some of the things wrong with the prequels weren't because of too much power in one person instead of a collaborative effort. But anyways, as far as my, you know, Star Wars ideology goes, I think one of the best things about the Star Wars, you know, franchise is that it's created this wonderful, great universe. That, at least for me, I don't like Star Wars just because it's a really good hour-and-a-half movie, or because it had some really good action, or I don't like Star Wars because there were some good metaphors in it, or great dialogue. Like, none of those reasons are why I love Star Wars, and I'd be really hard-pressed to find somebody that those are actually the reasons why they love Star Wars. People don't love them because they are good movies. They love them because they expand your imagination and, you know, capture your imagination into this bigger, awesome universe. Let's see, there's actually a line that Obi-Wan says, you've taken your first step into a greater, or into a larger world. And I feel like that is pretty much the audience of Star Wars and fans of Star Wars. Why we love it is because we've taken this one first step in this giant world that's beyond us. That's why we like to, you know, pretend Star Wars when we're little kids, pretend to be the characters and go off on these adventures that didn't happen in the movies. That's why we collect figures and play video games, because the Star Wars universe is an interesting one. And it's all the more interesting when you make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that happened in the prequels, and that happens with the Clone Wars, and that happens with the thousands of expanded universe books that are out there. So the fact that that a big corporation, you know, a big company like Disney is going to continue making canon movies sometime in the future just makes me so hopeful. Because even if I, you know, get bored by action on Mustafar, I still really like to know that, oh, there's this place called Mustafar in the, you know, Star Wars universe, and it's full of lava, and these are the people that live there, and, you know, this is the history behind it. That's just fun, and that's just good, and I would never say no to more of that. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm really curious to hear what your guys' opinions are too. I mean, I would think, since most of the people that watch my videos, or used to, if you guys are still around, were, you know, big Star Wars fans, I would think that you'd probably be similar to me, that you're just excited to get more of it. I think the casual Star Wars fan that's, you know, watched those reviews that bash on the prequel trilogy, that think the original trilogy is just, you know, perfection, that there wasn't a thing wrong with them and they could never be done any better. I think those people will not see this in good light. But yeah, what do you think? Comment or video, or I'm just going to be watching this very, very closely, so I'm excited. Anyways, thanks for listening, and see you guys soon. Bye.